Sounds good.
Welcome to Fertility Talks. This is my live post number 112. And I am Mary Wong, your host, and I'm really honored this evening to have our special guest, and her name is Sarah. And the reason being is that, this is the holiday season, end of year, and certainly there's a lot of hype about just getting together with family and friends. And for those of you who are trying to conceive, it can cause a lot of distress. And so, what a better way to start off this holiday season by sharing a nice, miraculous story. So, here is Sarah. So, thank you for taking the time out to be with us because I know you will make a difference.
Thank you. I'm very happy to share my story and to chat with you because I really do want to make a difference.
And you will for sure.
Yep.
So, um, as we normally see, there's not much in the way of interaction during the post because a lot of people that are having fertility challenges, the last thing they want to do is, tell everybody else that they're having issues, right? So when they like something, they are basically outing themselves. So we're going to have a very quiet conversation. You never know. Maybe someone will ask something. But let's go delve in. And for those of you who have never seen my posts, I am Mary Wong, and I'm a registered traditional Chinese medicine practitioner and acupuncturist. I've written a book called Pathways to Pregnancy. I am the founder of a holistic health clinic in downtown Toronto, and I'm a wellness and fertility coach. But that's just loose change because more importantly, I want to hear your story. And the reason why I really want to hear your story rather than me telling it is because when I personally had fertility issues, one of the things that kept me going was literally watching my patients come in and they're um, quite distraught, right? You might have had those moments. And
Yeah.
then I watch them transform and see the miracles that they are and conceive somehow, one way or another.
Yeah.
So having that privilege, giving me hope, I just thought, you know what? Other people don't get that access. So why not we provide some hope through other people's stories? So that's why I wrote my book, Pathways to Pregnancy, and that's why you're here tonight.
Yep.
So tell us, when you first came to me, what was happening? What were you diagnosed with? What was transpiring?
So when I first came to you, it was October of 2017. So I gave birth to my first child, my son, in 2016 in February. I the following summer, so summer of 2017, my husband and I decided we would like to try for another baby. My menstrual cycle hadn't returned since having my son. I was still nursing at that point, so I heard it was pretty normal not to have a menstrual cycle. I went to my family doctor, and
Wait,
she,
you know what? Sorry, I'm going to cut you off for 1 second.
yep,
Just because I'm very conscientious of the viewers.
okay,
So some people might automatically go, "Oh, well, she's so lucky. Why the hell is she complaining when she has one kid?"
right,
Right? So I want to just reframe for those of you that are out there thinking, "Well, she is lucky." And absolutely, yes. But the reality is that when you were trying for a second one, you were having great challenges.
yes. So I my menstrual cycle hadn't returned, so I had been to my gynecologist and had an ultrasound. And when he gave me the ultrasound, he was checking to see how my uterus was looking. And at that point, he said he didn't see any particular issues, but there could be possible scarring. After I'd had my son, I had some retained placenta, so I'd had to have surgery, a D&C procedure, to clear out the lining of my uterus, which can cause scarring. So at this point, we didn't know if so this was around October of 2017. We didn't know if my uterus was that severely scarred. So I had heard about you and acupuncture. So I came to you in the hope to try and get my menstrual cycle back. And again, at that point, I didn't really know what was going on. So we started acupuncture.
What was your view about acupuncture at that point?
I was very open to it. I'd done acupuncture actually when I was in labor with my son, but that was the only time I'd ever tried acupuncture. And I was willing to try anything, and I'd heard so many good things about acupuncture, and I'd had friends that see you, and they'd recommended you, so I was excited to try it. I had no idea if I was going to like it, and I ended up loving it. But yeah, so I started with acupuncture, and then in December, I found out that my uterus was extremely scarred, and I was told that there was no way to know like how bad it was until the surgeon went in with a camera to check it out. So we continued with acupuncture, and by February of 2018, I had to have surgery to remove the scar tissue. After the surgery, I was then told I was diagnosed with Asherman syndrome, which is severe scarring of the uterus. And I was told at that point that it was very, very unlikely that I would ever be able to carry another child. My only option, if I wanted a biological child, would to be go down the route of a surrogate. So I was told this in February. At this point, I was still seeing you. A month later in March, actually, the day I came for acupuncture, went home that evening, and I got my period.
Which was a miracle, right?
It was a miracle. I emailed you right away, and it was the best news I had. I mean, at this point, I still didn't think it was going to be possible to have another child, but I just thought, okay, well, something's now working in my body. I've got my period back. This is great. Yes. So the day I saw you in March, my period returned.
And of course, so let me just cut in so that I can let people know what this means. So when you have Asherman's, which is severe scarring, what can happen is that it impacts the uterine lining in a way that it doesn't shed appropriately. And then so you can't build a lining, right?
Yeah.
So hence no period.
Yeah.
So we worked at it. So we helped decrease the scar tissue, obviously, because you started to get your period back, and increasing blood flow through the acupuncture and through Chinese herbal medicine.
Yeah, that was the other thing, Chinese herbal medicine, which I'd never done before, and yeah, now I'm a big believer in it. So so glad I discovered that. Mm-hmm. So my period returned in March. I went back for my 2-month post-surgery follow-up with my gynecologist, and he was pretty gobsmacked that my menstrual cycle had come back. He couldn't believe it. So then at this point I said, can I try? And he said, you can, but he was not very hopeful at all. I tried, and I got pregnant. This was in April, and I'm now 35 weeks pregnant.
Oh my gosh, is it 35?
It's 35 weeks, yeah.
Okay. So again, for those watching, sometimes it's really hard to hear other people being pregnant, but just imagine a doctor telling you there's no possible way that you would be able to get pregnant or carry a baby, and that the only way to have another baby was to actually get a surrogate. Like how
exactly,
right?
I mean, 11 months ago, I was told that I wouldn't be able to carry another child. That was it. You know, it was heartbreaking. I mean, my husband and I were in the room when we were told that, and then we hear surrogate, and you know, it was just not what I was expecting. You know, I thought I'd have the surgery and everything would be good, but it was really hard. Mm-hmm. And you know, I started looking at reading up on surrogacy, and it was so overwhelming, and I thought, I don't even know if this is something I could even go through. I just don't know. And to have that taken away from you, to be told that's it, you're not going to have another child, is just it's heartbreaking when that's, you know, all you've wanted.
Absolutely.
So to be in this situation now, 11 months later, it really is a miracle. And when I found out I was pregnant and I went back to my gynecologist, he was floored. And in the beginning, he was not very positive.
Mhm.
He didn't think that this was going to work out. And when I'd had an ultrasound around 8 weeks and everything was, I mean, it's still early, but looking good. He was just, yeah. He said, he actually said, this is a miracle. He said that.
Good. Because
So,
it is, right? And here's
yeah,
the thing, miracles do happen and you're living proof. So that's why I wanted to bring you in directly so that it's not like I'm just making up stories.
exactly. And I want people to know that because, I mean, yes, I'm very lucky that I have had one child and, didn't have any problems conceiving the first time around. Well, I did have a miscarriage actually before I had my son. Um, but
How
I
old
want,
were you at the time when you had?
I was 30, uh, 35 when I had my miscarriage,
Uh-huh.
and I was 36 when I had my son,
Okay, so that's great to know because, of
and I'm
course,
38 now.
yeah, and thank you for sharing that. Women
No
always
problem.
love to hear how old other women are, right?
Yeah,
Like, and the first thing they say, "Oh my gosh, I'm over 35, I'm over the hill, I'm geriatric," and I'm like, "No."
exactly. No, I'm 38 now. I'll be turning 39 in 2019. So um,
So, will you be 39 when you have your baby or 38?
I'll be 38,
Okay, yeah, but even
39 in September.
no, for those of you that are like really looking at your age,
Yeah,
so this is still qualifying under the geriatric section.
exactly.
So, and we want to defy that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I really want people to know that there is hope. I mean, I just feel so lucky to have found you and for me discovering traditional Chinese medicine because it's changed my life. And I don't I don't know if I'd be in this position if I hadn't stuck with acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine. I really don't know what would have happened because, like I said, in February, I was told that it was pretty much impossible that I was going to carry another child. And had I have walked out of that office, that doctor's office, and just said, okay, well, that's it, I don't know what happened. But I stuck with acupuncture. And I think for me, the big thing as well, when you start acupuncture, it's something you need to continue with your life. You don't
Right.
just go for a couple of sessions and then you think, okay, that's it. Like there's nothing working because, I started doing the acupuncture. Well, it was November of 2017, and my menstrual cycle returned in March 2018.
Mm,
So
yeah,
you can't just go for a few sessions and think
that's
like,
like,
this is it.
you bring in a really good point because um, blood cells requires like a good 90 days for recycling.
Yeah.
And germ cells for the development of our eggs. And of course, when you're older, there's a
Hmm.
fear about the quality of eggs as well, right?
Right.
So you had already had one miscarriage, and of course, we want to optimize the egg quality simultaneously as work with your uterus.
Yeah.
And that we actually say it takes up to like 6 to 9 months. But most of the people that come into for help, they want to be pregnant yesterday. So it's like, okay, fine, we'll work this month, but it'll impact this month, next month, following month,
Yeah.
right? And it's something that we would do regularly for sure.
Yeah. No, I mean, I remember when I first came to you, you said you're probably going to need, like, I can't put a limit on how many sessions you're going to need. And I remember thinking early March, I don't think I'm going to get my period back. And
Okay.
then,
Yeah.
and then it came in March.
Yes. Yes. No, I remember that so well because you were in that place of despair. Thinking, this is it. I'm done, and then I'll just go to menopause. I'll never have a period again, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I thought. And, yeah, I mean, with being diagnosed with Asherman syndrome, it's just like, my world came crashing down because I thought, well, that's it. That is the end. And I think a big thing that also helped my body is like the hope that you gave me.
Oh,
Because you're so, well, as people know, trying to get pregnant, you get so stressed and you get so caught up in it. And your body is so tense. And when I would come for a session with you and I'd leave, I felt calm. It's the only time I felt calm because I didn't know what was, not what was ahead of me. But I would leave feeling calm, and I truly believe that plays a big part in what was going on with my body.
well, thank you. But
Yeah.
I wonder if it's okay to share some more personal stuff about what was going on underlying aside from trying to conceive, because
Yep.
there's a lot of stress going on in your life. And why I want to bring that up is because oftentimes women will say, "Oh, I'm too stressed to be able to have a baby."
Yeah. So I lost my father this year in February. Um, I lost my father early February, and on February 8th, which would have been my dad's birthday, he passed away a week before, was the day that I was scheduled to have my surgery to go inside my uterus to see how bad the scarring was and have it removed. So I was, my family are in England. And at this point, I wasn't going back just then because we were waiting for a funeral and everything else. So I just thought, do I go ahead and do the surgery now? And I was just it was the hardest time in my life, but I thought I've got to get this done and then I can get back to England. So I was emotionally and physically just completely drained. It was just awful, not sleeping well, not eating well, just like my whole world had come crashing down. So I lost my father. I had the surgery, and then I was told that I would probably never have another child again and have to have a surrogate. So I learning how to cope through that was a big challenge. And seeing you and having acupuncture was something that really did calm me because I'd come for my session and an hour my body would literally just relax. I could feel it. And that was a huge thing for me because I was just it was awful. It was just the worst thing that I've ever been through.
Didn't you also have a pet that passed?
I did, and then I went to England in early March for my dad's funeral. I came back from the funeral, got back to Toronto, and 2 days later had to have my dog put down because my dog was really sick.
Hmm.
So all of this happened. It was just a huge. It just all came together at one point, and it was just my whole world was crashing down, and my mom's in England. My mom's struggling with things with the loss of my dad. So I'm dealing with that. I can't go to England right now because obviously I'm pregnant. But at this time, it was just yeah, it was a really 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 tough time.
And might I add that you're an only child, so you really had all the responsibility on your shoulders.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my stress levels were through the roof. I've never felt stress like that before, and sadness.
Mm, absolutely. And so, again, for those of you watching, really, it's people are looking for, oh, what's the best time, the right time? And in reality, it's our ability to persevere through the stresses that we cannot control. I mean, of course, there are stresses in lives that you can control and perhaps take away or walk away from. But there are certain things that you just cannot control, like your father's passing, or your dog being sick, or your mother being not well, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I first came to see you obviously for trying to get my menstrual cycle back, and then finding out the scar tissue, but um, the stress management has been a huge thing.
Mhm.
Again, because I don't know what my body would have done had I not been doing something to help with the stress. And some self-care and relaxing.
Absolutely. I mean, that's where you hear, and people hate hearing this, but the whole, oh, just go on a vacation and get pregnant, right?
Exactly.
And but there is a true reality about when we help mitigate that stress response so that it will help your hypothalamus, the master gland that is like the feeler gland, your barometer, your homeostasis for your body, and it really impacts all the hormones in your body. So if we can help to regulate that and down regulate stress response, it can just
What?
really work better.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like I'm living proof of that because trust me, when I said I was stressed, yeah, there
Yes,
was a lot going on. And
yes.
to think about trying to get pregnant during that was just, yeah, felt impossible.
And and that's a reality too, right? Because people come in so desperate and um, they're like, every month is a wasted month if I don't get pregnant. So no
Exactly.
matter what's going on in their lives that they can't control, they're still trying. But it's like, well, how do you mitigate that response of stress,
Yeah.
right? And it's hard to do it on your own, or it's hard to say, oh, I should just relax. Well, you just can't.
You can't.
No.
I know I couldn't. So I tell everybody now, like if somebody's saying they're stressed and they're just having hard times, I think I say try acupuncture because it really does make your body feel so good and so relaxed.
So what do you tell someone who's scared of needles?
It's funny because a lot of like now I tell everybody about acupuncture because I just love acupuncture. It's the best thing, and I can't imagine not having acupuncture in my life now. And
Okay,
I
wait. I gotta make a disclaimer. I totally did not feed you
no,
with
you
anything.
didn't.
You came on voluntarily and you're just telling your story about your miracle. I
I
didn't
just
expect you to, give me so much love.
I know. No, it's funny because I love going. I love massage. Right, I can just completely relax when I get massage. And for me, when I first going for acupuncture, I just thought, well, this isn't going to be something that's relaxing. Like I don't, I didn't, I wasn't going in thinking it's going to hurt, but I thought this isn't going to be something that's going to be like a relaxing treatment, like when you go for a massage and you just completely feel relaxed. But it honestly makes my body feel like I'm floating. I feel so relaxed, and that's what I keep telling people. And I know so many people that have said, "Oh, I went for acupuncture. Um, it kind of hurt. It didn't feel that good. I didn't like it." And I'm just like, I think you're seeing the wrong person because um, it's never hurt me. It feels great, and yeah, you have to go through a number of like different people to find the right person. Like with anything, right? With doctors, with dentists, with massage therapists. I was just lucky to find you and go to you first, but I'd been recommended you through friends, so I
Yeah,
was lucky there that I didn't have to go through a handful of different.
absolutely. So again, for those that are, not in Toronto, but are far away elsewhere, there has to be someone that can communicate
Absolutely.
with you, right? There must
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
It's not just me. I know
No, no.
not everybody can come see me.
No. But once you find the right person, I just think, yeah, acupuncture is incredible.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, yeah, I've been everyone I talk to now that has something wrong with them, like just go and try acupuncture. Just give it a go because
So
it really does
let's bring
work.
it back. Because okay, there's the fear of never being pregnant,
Yeah.
but then I recall, and you might want to add to this, the fear of while you're pregnant.
Yes. So the moment I found out I was pregnant, well, probably the next day, I emailed you and I was terrified. I also saw my gynecologist early on as well because he wanted to give me an early ultrasound because he was not very hopeful for things. So I pretty much had this fear that this pregnancy wasn't going to take. I thought there's no way after everything that I've been told and how bad my uterus, how severely scarred it was. And at the time, the surgeon had taken away as much of the lining as he could, and um, just didn't think that there was enough that a pregnancy would be able to stick to it. So I thought I couldn't get excited about it because I thought it's not going to happen. This is going to be taken away from me.
Sure.
And I
Talk
had miscarried before.
for exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And when I miscarried, the first time I got pregnant when I miscarried, I had a miscarriage, so I didn't even know I'd miscarried. I went for my 12-week ultrasound, and I was told then. So that was just so because of that, it's a fear because I didn't even know that you could miscarry and not know. I thought you miscarry, you bleed, you have symptoms, and then I found out you can miscarry and you don't even know. So that was terrifying. So I found out I was pregnant, and it was just I couldn't fully enjoy the first 12 weeks because I was terrified that I was going to lose this baby. And then at 12 weeks, everything was good, but I was still terrified until I sort of got to 20 weeks. But a big thing was with the acupuncture, being able to relax, and just,
meaning that you did acupuncture every week in the first trimester.
yeah. And going in, and because I was really stressed, I every day I just kept thinking, like, what if something happens? This could be taken away from me. So doing acupuncture very regularly in the first trimester really helped me because my body was able to relax, and I'd leave the clinic feeling a lot calmer. And you gave me hope. And I was also doing.
You didn't believe me though. FYI.
Well, I didn't believe I was pregnant first. I'm like, no, this can't be right. So yeah. I had to go out, and when I did my pregnancy test, I had the ones with the line on it, and I thought, no, it's too faint. This isn't real. So then I ran into Shoppers and bought one of the expensive digital ones to see it clear as day, because I'm like, this can't be right. And I was also doing Chinese herbs as well.
Uh-huh.
And
Were
I
you
took.
doing anything else like yoga or whatever?
Yep, I was doing yoga, but I didn't. I kind of slowed down a lot of things in the beginning as well because I was feeling very nauseous. But I was doing yoga and trying to do like a bit of meditation as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just really hard because of everything with losing my dad and the struggles my mom was having, and being over here and trying to handle that and losing my dog. My body was just so stressed the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried, and I had no appetite. I'd lost some weight, and I just wasn't, feeling good. And I was dying. I mean, I was trying my hardest to carry on and be positive. And I mean, the news of the pregnancy was amazing, but I just thought this can't be. This can't be real. And I just felt I couldn't get excited about it because I had miscarried before. And then with everything, with the scar, with all the scar tissue that had been in my uterus, I thought there's no way that this is going to be,
Right.
this is going to happen.
You didn't embrace it because you didn't want to get disappointed or attached.
Exactly.
So this is normal. So for any of you that are out there and let's say you're trying or in the waiting game or early pregnancy, all these kinds of emotions come up and it's all normal. You
Yeah,
might not like it, but it is very normal. And we're not going to take it away from you. We're going to acknowledge it. And I'd say sit with it and then allow yourself to breathe through it. And
absolutely.
right.
Yeah, I was terrified.
For or advice for people right now?
Sorry, I missed what you said.
Sorry. Any last word of advice for women before we sign off?
I just really want people to know that there's hope. Like, don't give up. And it's hard when it's not happening and you're trying for so long. I mean, I know my situation was different, but I was told this year that it was not going to happen for me. And I wasn't giving up. I was not going to take no for an answer, and that's why I went down an alternative route. So I just want people to know that there is hope. There are other options out there, and just really do something to. I know it's hard when you're stressed, but whatever you can do to try and relax, I think it's so important.
Mm.
Self-care and doing that. But I really want people to know there's hope.
Well, thank you. And
I
my
do.
takeaway from your story is also that, whatever your doctor says, it's not the truth. It's a
Well,
moment.
that's it. Absolutely.
Yeah. So with that, that's kind of like the premise of my whole book, which are 15 stories of hope, one of which is my own, where all of the women are somehow given these bad diagnoses and, not given much hope. So we're here to counter that.
Yeah, and I think, when a medical doctor is telling you that, it's for a lot of people, you just think, well, that's a professional that they're telling me that. That's it. That's the end.
Yeah.
And it isn't. So don't give up,
Thank you.
because if I'd have taken that in February and just said, that's it, okay, bye, who knows if I'd be sitting here right now having this conversation with you.
Right. And that we'll never know because thankfully you didn't do that.
Exactly. So yeah. So yeah, please don't give up.
That's
That's
great.
what that would be my advice.
So I hope everyone gets to watch this and um, it'll make a big difference and put a smile on your face and some hope in your
I
heart.
hope so.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you again so much, Sarah, for sharing and all the best. And you know what? I'll see you really soon anyway.
You will, yes.
I
And
just
thank you.
prepare you for labor and delivery.
Exactly.
So really, it is a lifelong thing.
Yeah.
You can come for anything.
Exactly. And I'm so grateful to you, and you know and what you do, because you're doing an amazing thing, and yeah, it's great. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And it's hard for me to receive that, but I'll take
Well,
it
you need to. Yeah.
in. And honestly, I always say I'm a vessel, right? Your body did the work.
Yeah.
I just knew how to guide you. So thank you for listening and thank you for listening to yourself.
Yeah. And for people who are in Toronto and they can get to your clinic, you know, do it. And I'm sure if if they're not in Toronto, they can. There's like you said, so many great acupuncturists out there. So
Yeah.
yeah, don't give up.
And actually, you know what? You made a good point. So some people that are not local, you can call my office, which is Alive Holistic Health Clinic in
Yeah,
Toronto, and you could even book for like a phone or Skype consult, and then we can help you um, guide your direction, and I'll give you my words of wisdom. And um, before we sign off, I just want you to know, all the viewers, you can scroll down. I have some awesome past posts because this is now 112 live posts now. And um, so, for example, last week I had Dr. Yakov Bentov talked about CRISPR, which is like about changing DNA, which is crazy. So that's a very cool one. And then the week prior to that, we talked about sperm with Dr. Paul Turek, and I love that conversation because, as you all know, it takes two to tango, and he really covers that side of it, and especially for those women who are like totally being aggravated and pissed off, quite honestly, by their husbands who are not willing to change their diet or any kind of lifestyle habit. You get him to watch it, and maybe he'll change his tune because, of course, he's 50% of the equation. So, yeah, scroll down, watch the stuff, like my page. You can also watch these posts on my marywong.life website, and you can certainly sign up, subscribe, and um, you can go through that website, get my book, Pathways to Pregnancy, and I really hope to see you soon. I was going to take a break next Wednesday, which is the 26th. But I might do a little family thing. I'm gonna be in New York with my family. My mom, I come from a lineup of great cooks, so we might just do something that will be healthy for your fertility, and that's a recipe, live recipe making. How is that? Okay, thanks again, Sarah, and thanks
Thanks, Mary.
for watching. Have a great evening, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Have a
Thanks.